Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. My name is Wack. Today is February 25th, and we're going to talk about the fallout from the Pectra hard fork on Holesky collapse, like horror. We're going to talk about a huge block for the Rocket Pool smoothing pool. We're going to talk about Rocket Pool at ETH Denver. On the Ethereum side, we've got a whole lot to talk about Aya stepping away from the Ethereum Foundation's executive director, Uniswap case with the SEC, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So the only place we can begin today is with the Pectra Holesky hard fork, and this happened yesterday at 4:55 Eastern time, and right away it looked like it went okay. People saw the giraffe, which is the symbol, I guess, of this hard fork, but very quickly after that we started realizing that something was wrong. Within a minute, Pectra saw that his client was giving an issue here, and at the time he thought maybe it was just him. Non-fungible Yoakum said that he's attesting fine. However, it looked like other people were having issues as well. So this was looking at the dashboard for rocket poolers who are running Holesky Genesis nerds, and one person hit that, but then others missed it. Here, Invis missed it. So it looked like something was definitely going on with not just Pectra missing, but other people missing as well. And then there were other issues happening here as well. So very quickly we realized that something was not right. There was an error with the sync, and not good. So what was going on? Really quickly, we had Christine Kim kind of tweeting about it, so saying 10 minutes to Pectra, and then Pectra's life on Holesky, and then seeing a slight uptick in missed blocks, but the network participation rate looks strong. However, that didn't last long. So it says some client teams are reporting issues with invalid blocks in the ETH R&D Discord. People getting bad blocks, and then we started seeing lots of missed proposals, and the blocks were not finalizing. And then here Christine says that devs were troubleshooting what the issues are depending on the scale of the bugs. Devs could delay the Sepolia fork. If they do, they'll discuss this on the next all-core devs call happening this Thursday. And then the network's still not finalizing. Participation dropped to 50%. Lots of missed blocks. And then, Christine said that the date for the Pectra hard fork was, of course, dependent on the testnets going the way that it was, and that's why there's no actual date. There's just estimations. People were still waiting for the finalization. And then here, Christine says we're into an hour into the Pectra upgrade in Holesky, and the network is still not finalizing. Devs are actively troubleshooting the issues. It seems more likely now that the Sepolia upgrade may get delayed to allow for time for the client fixes and more testing on Holesky. So this was just an hour after the fork, and basically like the information was just coming in, so we didn't have full understanding of what was actually going on. And then this was more from Christine Kim there saying that that's happening. Here, like not long after this is in the Holesky nerds thread, PK910 says it seems like we have much bigger problems. Some people, they justified a bad chain, so all the validators that voted on that chain, so people who are running Geth and Reth nodes, will be slashed once we justify a block that's not on the same chain. So it says might be rest in peace Holesky. And non-fungible Yoakum says even justification is enough to slash everyone. I thought it was just finality. And PK910 says justification is already enough. Surrounding attestations are the problem. So then people here, Rocknet says for anyone ready to be slashed, then there was some information about updating your clients about that. But anyway, going back to Twitter, there was some more information coming through. So here, ETHStaker said an invalid block was proposed and accepted by several execution clients on Holesky, and devs are debugging. So Eragon Reth combo was working correctly. Nothing has finalized yet, and enough validators on the wrong chain have been shut down to prevent finalization. Devs are on top of it. So yeah, this was a couple of hours later, like it looked like this information was coming through, and then there was updates. So It says, Georgios here says, what was the bug? And it looks like the execution layer clients had an issue where they forgot to add the correct deposit contract address, which matters for Pectra requests hash calculation. So it looked like Bisu, Nethermind, and Geth were the ones that forgot that, and Reth and Aragon were okay. And yeah, this was not good. So yeah, like here, Jojo says that Holesky and other testnets exist to find issues. Excited that Reth and Aragon worked well. In my opinion, no big deal for the other teams. Shit happens. We'll fix it and keep shipping as one team. Highly recommend Reth in production. Would it have been better had no client had a bug? Sure. Was the bug easy to find? Yes. Does it mean we should go slower? No. So I guess according to Georgios here, the Sepolia hard fork should happen on time if it was just a small issue, as we were finding out what was going on and what the mistake was. Tim Baiko then kind of clarified the information and explained it a little bit more. He says, this might sound weird, but before Pectra execution layer clients didn't have to know that the deposit contract was special because the consensus layer just read from it directly. Now, because deposits can be triggered by the execution layer and aren't delayed by 2048 blocks to account for proof of work reorgs pre-mine, they do. This issue was triggered because the Holesky and Sepolia deposit contracts are different address than mainnet. Why? I have no idea. So it looks like this is what testing is for. This is what Lift Eris here is saying as well. It's pretty interesting. People think this is an interesting point. Yeah, that's kind of where we stood. Now, what happens next? Here we had an update a little bit later from Paritosh saying the Holesky hard fork ran into a configuration issue on 3 major clients on the network. The minority clients, however, continue to produce valid blocks. The issue has been identified and the fixes are now up, so please update your client. And then there's information. It says the Pectra fork adds lots of new configuration values. These are usually system contracts. However, EIP 6110 moves the deposit detection from the domain of the consensus layer to the domain of the execution layer. This implies the execution layer needs to configure the deposit contract. In DevNets, we provided Genesis config to the execution layer and consensus layer teams. These configs contained all the contracts baked in. On DevNets, we baked in the deposit contract as the address 0x42-42. Mainnet Sepolia have real contract appointments as there were proof of work chains before the merge. And then mainnet and Sepolia addresses differ as the Sepolia deposit contract uses tokens to onboard validators. So now we have 3 addresses the client needs to track: mainnet Sepolia and DevNets or Holesky. And then the crux of the bug is that some execution layer teams didn't take into account this difference in which addresses to track per network. There was also one client that had configured no address to track for deposits. This matters for the Pectra request hash calculation. So when could this have been caught? It wouldn't have been caught. This is why we do testing. And will this affect mainnet? Nope. The bug was scoped to config issues on Holesky. There are learnings that we can take forward, but this isn't a bug with a wide surface area. We may take some time to manually verify some things, but the problem seems fully explained. So it shouldn't be a big deal in terms of delaying things. And how does Holesky proceed? As I said, we will discuss this on the all core devs. For now, resync both execution and consensus layer with updated client releases. If you have a validator slashing database, delete it. And we want the network to finalize from the chaos, and that needs your help. So basically what it means is that you get your clients slashed and let the network finalize and things will be okay. So it says Paritosh says what are the complications, and the invalid chain was justified, not finalized due to the majority client having the bug. The network would need to leak or slash the clients that are tested to the invalid chain. Our aim is to get the chain to finalize for now. Tune into the all core devs for more. The bug presents a great testing opportunity though. We now have a non-finalizing testnet with a unique network and in need of recovery. This was basically part of the testing on non-finality devnets in November. Now we get to validate our results. And it says the bug will give us an idea of how mainnet would perform in a case such a scenario like this, allowing us ample time to fix problems before they become critical. ETH Panda Ops will be spending a lot of time analyzing the peer-to-peer layer performance specifically, and the hat tip to Lodestar Gnosis chain and the Cheeto testnet. They identified a bug on Lodestar before it affected us on Holesky. This helped reduce the amount of chaos and bugs to triage. And if you want to help and are deeply technical, then consider helping us make the mainnet fork more secure by taking part in the Pectra bug hunting contest. And there's information. So great thread. So yeah, that's where we stand. Well, this is where we stood last night. Then this morning, well, earlier on, then Nixo said, we may see a fun smash slashing event for the testnet validators that voted on the invalid block. So, yay. So the way that would, let me explain how this would work, kind of like in layman's terms, hopefully, so you can all understand it. So there was a bug in Pectra. Some people had the wrong values in their contracts, and when you proposed, what happened is some people proposed the correct value and some people proposed with the incorrect value. Now, the people who proposed with the incorrect value, sadly, they were the people who were in the majority. So they had the majority of the network. So what happened is a lot of those people shut down their validators, which stopped finalizing. But when they bring up their validators again and they are and they resync their clients to make sure that they're trying to get back to the correct chain, when they attest on the new one, they'll get slashed because they had attested on a bad block, basically. So they'll get punished for that. Now this could, like Nixo says, it could be a mass slashing event, and it could be a big percentage of the network gets slashed, and then the new network will be able to finalize and carry on behaving properly. So it's not good, basically. But yeah, this is it. This is why we're testing these things. Like it's really awesome that in a way that this has happened and we can do this. And it's a good thing that the bug is a really small bug that's trivial in fixing once you understand what's actually happened. Okay, then in the rocket pool community here, like overnight, people were discussing, is it not finalized? And Halulu said that it's going to die, that chain, maybe the real one too. And what are we supposed to do with Holesky now? Does that mean due to fork, existing validators will get slashed? We need to spin up new validators with updated builds to join the correct chain. And then Halulu says the problem is that anyone who returns to the correct chain now is slashable. I think the idea is to wait whether that actually happens. Depends on whether anyone was actually running a slasher on Holesky. If not, it's probably fine to just continue. If it does happen, I guess we'll need a whole new testnet. Or, a lot of it could get slashed and then you just carry on with the validators that are left. Maybe that's one way to do it as well. Okay, then here from Etherworld, we got a report. It was a post-mortem about what happened. So here they were talking about, EIP 6110 and the impact of that and what actually happened. So most of the stuff in here was stuff that I've already talked to you about, but you can go ahead and read it to get the information that you need. That goes into a little bit more depth and explains a little bit more of what I was saying. And then here Kevin was kind of doing the good guy, bad guy thing with the meme with the Kermit and the evil Kermit, saying, we should fix it, and next saying that we should fork it. So I guess the real question is what's going to happen here, and that's definitely an interesting one. And then Tim Byko had an update today saying that quick Holesky incident update is that execution layer config issues fixed, releases are out, consensus layer clients are struggling to sync, working on patches, some are being tested right now. So we expect to save Holesky by building on the minority chain. So that will be the mass slashing event. And then there's a all core devs call scheduled for 2 p.m. UTC tomorrow. So that's on Wednesday. So I guess that's a special call that they are setting up just to discuss this. But yeah, here Momo says, I bet this has become a fun exercise for the devs to try to save Holesky. What a great opportunity to practice navigating a black swan scenario. And yeah, this is pretty cool to see. So it was bad. There's no covering that. It was bad that it happened. It would have been nicer if it was totally smooth. But this is the purpose of the testnets. We want to push them to the limits, really. You want to see what bugs come out of them, and we hope that things go smoothly. But when a bug like this happens, now it gives us a really interesting environment in which to test out a lot of other stuff that could have gone wrong before. Hopefully not mainnet, and see how it all plays out. So, yeah, exciting. Okay, let's move on to some rocket pool news now. And this news is about the new proposal that has now had a week. So it's going live on mainnet. However, there's a problem. So the vote went live here, and it went live earlier on today, and it's, there's no one voted on it so far. It's on-chain voting, so you have to do it through your node. But then Halu said, do we vote against this or just let it be? So you might be thinking, why would you be voting against this or letting it be? Well, Langus put out an announcement yesterday at 1:42 a.m. and he says, following on from the announcement of the first on-chain proposal, just after it was raised, the community realized that inflation allocation changes are supposed to be a supermajority vote as per RPIP 25. The on-chain proposal only supports a win quorum of 51%. Then Langus says, we will work with the community on a long-term solution, whether that be technical or governance. In the meantime, expect an upcoming snapshot-based process that has the same outcome. For the on-chain proposal, please don't vote for it. It will eventually expire after 2 weeks without quorum. As always, please let us know if you have any concerns. Rocket Pool. So yeah, this is the situation with the vote. And at the moment, we are just not going to use this system for now, and because of the supermajority required. But this will be going to a snapshot vote instead. So look out for that. Okay, next we have this Etherscan page output that is not showing very much on first sight, but what you can see here is that it is a transfer of ETH to the Rocket Pool smoothing pool. Now, you might be thinking, why is the smoothing pool getting money? Well, obviously, when it does proposals, this block, node operator in the smoothing pool proposes a block. Part of that can be MEV or something like that. Well, here, Beaver Build actually put together this block, and in that, there was a 102 ETH reward that went to the Rocket Pool smoothing pool. Now, this wasn't caught by Rocket Watch, which is what I normally would have been showing you in this situation, but it was a nice block that came in, and here you can see the details of it on Rocket Pool. This is Rocket Scans Explorer, and you can see that we are already at a point where we're higher than the all of the smoothing pool from last month. So we're currently at around 146 ETH, and that started about 10 days ago. So a bit more than that. Like 11 days ago. So it's not bad. It's a nice block. It's the biggest block that the smoothing pool has had in quite a while. So that's always nice to see. So if you're in the smoothing pool, this month you might get a little bit better in terms of your rewards than you got in previous months. So good stuff. Okay, so ETH Denver conference is kicking off, and there's the Build Week stuff is happening, but also side events have already started. So here Ken was at the restaking conference, and it looked like there was a decent turnout. We got this picture, and we're going to be getting lots and lots of pictures of people from ETH Denver right now. Sadly, I'm not there this year, so if you are there, you won't be seeing me. But Patches landed on the ground. Ken is there as well, and here there's more pictures from the restaking conference that's happening, and then there's like side events that are super busy. There's pull-ups that people are getting, and now the blocks for the main conference to get your tickets are kind of going around the block, so it's quite busy. Here there is a picture of Rocket Pool team members arriving. I'm not going to dox the different members. Actually, we know who all the members are. So here on the right, we have Kane, then we have Nick, then we have Langers, next, the second from the left, but fourth from the right, then we have Dave, and on the very left, we have Fornax. So a bunch of team members have arrived. I think maybe Ken took the picture, or maybe it was Mav who took the picture. And they're asking if there's going to be a pizza party this year. But yeah, so I'll be covering pictures from ETH Denver a lot. So if you are taking pictures of ETH Denver, please put them in the ETH Denver thread. Put them in submissions because you can get easy tickets, because I'll be covering all the pictures, and I'll be giving myself like super major FOMO. So yeah, lots of cool people there already. So lots of people for you to see. I like how one of the team members actually has an orange suitcase as well. Like it looks like it's got a Rocket Pool sticker on it as well. So that's pretty cool. And then there's more pictures of the restaking conference. I don't know why that opened twice. Okay, so we got some client updates. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's the Lodestar one with the issue discovered in the Gnosis Shiado testnet that forked to Pectra. So that's cool. There was Nethermind, and then there was the Geth, Bisu, and others as well that you might be seeing in the days coming. That's for the Holesky hard fork, with the issues that we were talking about earlier. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on those for Holesky if you are using that. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now. The big news of the day was aggregator news here, I guess, saying that Aya Miyaguchi to transition from executive director to president of Ethereum Foundation. So this was a huge area of FUD not FUD, I guess, just community dismay and a good community movement. Good in the sense like a sizable number of community members were involved in this movement to have Danny Ryan replace Aya as the executive director of the Ethereum Foundation. At the time, Vitalik told us that things had been, in the process of happening for a year now, and this has now resulted in Aya moving from the executive director to the president of the Ethereum Foundation. Vitalik put out a statement first saying Aya first shared the idea of transitioning from the executive director of Ethereum Foundation to president a year ago. She's accomplished much in her 7 years as executive director of the EF. As I see it, the role of the ED is to create an environment where others can shine and do their best work. And so every success of the EF and steady execution of the Ethereum hard forks, client interoperability workshops, DevCon, Ethereum's culture, and steadfast commitment to its mission and values and more is part of Aya's stewardship. And then Aya will continue supporting the EF in many of the same ways in a new role. Meanwhile, we will. I've been working on new EF leadership structure, and we'll share more news soon. So people want to know, like, is that going to involve Danny Ryan being the executive director? And it looks like we'll be getting some details soon. Aya put out a statement as well saying, today I'm excited to turn the page and share that I'll be closing this chapter as executive director of the Ethereum Foundation soon and stepping into a new role as president. Let's continue building in the garden. And then there's a full statement as well that you can read on the Ethereum Foundation blog. Eric Connor says, thank you for all you did. For Ethereum. David Hoffman says, thanks for everything, Aya. We deeply appreciate you. And what's really interesting is Eric Connor was one of those people who was most vociferous in talking about how Danny Ryan should be replacing Aya. He actually put out a little statement of his own a little while later saying, I can't fully comment if I'm bullish or bearish that Aya and the Ethereum Foundation leadership change. No one knows what the president is. No one knows the new leadership structure is. No one knows who the executive director is. And I guess we will eventually see. So here, Tim Johnson says the president in the foundation setting sounds like a symbolic or advisory role. So maybe that's the idea. And then we had Adam Cochran, I think, who kind of presented the information in a way that makes sense to me. He says, would guess that this means that the executive director will do the day-to-day and tech, while the president is a more macro direction, partnerships figurehead, and more removed. This is more importantly, it's the kind of move you would do unless you had a new executive director lined up. So it looks like, we'll be getting those details soon. But I'm pretty sure now that we'll have Danny Ryan as the Ethereum Foundation executive director within a matter of weeks. Okay, another huge area of FUD in 2024 was the SEC and its unrelenting pursuit of crypto companies. It seems like, especially those based on Ethereum, we got news last week of the case against Coinbase and Robinhood being wound down, and now we are getting news of the case against the Uniswap being wound down as well and being dropping that case. So this is awesome. So this news broke. Then Uniswap Labs put out a statement saying in April of last year, the SEC issued a Wells notice that Uniswap Labs operated as an unregistered broker, operated an exchange, and issued an unregistered security. As of yesterday, that investigation has officially been closed. The SEC is taking no enforcement action. This is a huge win for DeFi and reaffirms what we've always known, that the technology we build is on the right side of the law and our work is on the right side of history. And then Hayden Adams, the founder of Uniswap, had a bit of a longer statement out, just kind of talking about the previous SEC, how they disagreed with the characterization that the previous SEC had of Uniswap, and how they basically did all this work, and it was all wrong, and they shouldn't have done that. And there's more as well, so you can read that. And Hayden finishes by saying the best days for DeFi are ahead, and that's really exciting. So yeah, good stuff. Okay, next we've got a biannual tradition, and it's the newest version of this. This is the version 13 of the Ethereum Foundation's Ask Me Anything. This is for the research branch of the Ethereum Foundation, and the AMA is now open, so you can. And this will remain open until a close notice replaces this message. Have any questions, ask away. So the members of the Ethereum Foundation research team are back to answer your questions. And this is the 13th AMA, and you've got links to the previous one. So this has been happening twice a year pretty much, sometimes 3 times a year since 2019, which is awesome. I haven't had a chance to really dig through this yet, but people like Justin Drake, Vitalik, and even people like M Team, who's working with Spire, which is a based rollup, and others as well, gave answers here, and Barnaby, and a whole lot of others, Ethereum researchers, Dankrad as well, and yeah, this is really, really cool to see, and I think it's a really great thing that happens. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to really dig into the questions and read through it yet, but I'm just bringing this here for your attention, just so you can check it out. Okay, the big news from last week, at the end of last week, was the hack of Bybit. We covered that on Rocket Fuel on Friday's episode, and now Bybit are going, now that they've felt like they're assured in their position with having the ETH accounted for, some of which has been bought back, some of which has been borrowed from other places. They are now going on the front foot against Lazarus and taking the charge against them. So Ben says that join us in our war against Lazarus, industry first bounty site that shows aggregated full transparency on the sanctioned Lazarus money laundering activities. So version 1 includes becoming a bounty hunter by connecting your wallet, helping trace the fund. When you submitted bounty leads to a freeze, the bounty is paid up front upon instantly out freezing, and all freezers get 5% of the bounty exchange mixes and all, a live ranking of good and bad actors and their response time to deal with the sanctioned Lazarus group transactions. Don't want to end up on the bad actor list. It's a record of you helping facilitate sanctioned transactions, and then live API wallet address update for exchanges, chain analysis, Arkham, Elliptic, and others. And there's a team dedicated to maintaining and updating this website. Will not stop until Lazarus or bad actors in the industry are eliminated. In the future, we'll open it to other victims of Lazarus as well. And then version 2, they're going to have a live update on the latest wallet with the latest balances. This will serve as an open bounty. Bounty hunters can claim a wallet and own that part of the journey for X amount of time when the wallet is moving. And then they'll have regulator tools as well and more ideas. So if you have and here Zach XPT says this is interesting, and that's because of only some of Zach's findings were entered. It might not be full. If you have more, help us submit a bounty on the site or send it to me through DM. Really appreciate your help. And then Zach says, overall, good job with the site. And thus far, I like how it highlights the bad actors like EXCH, who continue to let Lazarus Group launder funds as a centralized service while charging high fees. And then the TLDR is Zach didn't think he'd be number 2 on the list. It's also hilarious they put EXCH on the as a bad actor list. So if you actually have a look at the website, there's $140 million bounty, which is 10% of the rewards. So far, 90% is still being tracked. 6.75% has gone to the bad actors, that's EXCH, and then 3.3% of that has been frozen, that's $42 million worth. The bad actors list here is EXCH, and they've not responded. And then the good actors here are people like Mantle, BitGet, Circle, Tether, and FixFloat, and more as well. So yeah, it's really cool. And here Zach XPT so far has had the highest payout of $9,000, with Mantle getting $2,100,000 or thereabouts. So if you have skills to track down and help freeze Lazarus's money, then there's a whole chunk of money here for you as a prize. So get on it. On that note, I'm going to end today's episode of Rocket Fuel. Thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.